Good afternoon and good evening, global friends, global viewers, and subscribers. Welcome back to my channel, Motivationalee. And as you all know, I've just launched this month, my channel. And again, it's just baby steps, but I'm really enjoying it. And to all who have subscribed, thank you so much. And just to let you know, FYI, this channel has been created to inspire, motivate, and create an impact to each one of you, regardless of your circumstance. And obviously I have also thought of like giving you different segments, different segments will be featured here, such as giving you ideas and tips about wellness, like performance outcome, income, lifestyle, and direction when it comes to opportunities like career, or migration, anything like that, traveling, something like that. And also we'll talk about direction on like relationships and even faith as well. So there's so many segments that we'll be featuring here, so watch out for it. So for those who already subscribed, thank you so much. And for those who have not yet subscribed, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Motivationally. So as I've said, there you go. Thank you. Now, as I've said, I'll be talking about, or we'll be talking about migration today is one of our segments. And I have here a gorgeous friend who's been very smart and very generous with all the ideas and when it comes to visas coming here to Australia. So maybe your friends, your families, or anyone that you know would like to come to Australia in whatever visas they want to apply. It could be being a student, skilled migrants, what else? Spouse visa, parents visa. Let's talk about that later on. So just sit back and relax. And I would like you to meet my good friend who's now obviously a very successful migrant agent, who's got also her office here in Melbourne. I would like you to meet Niti Hara.
Hello,
Woo-hoo!
hello
Hi,
everyone.
Niti. How are,
Hi.
how's it going?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for
Nice.
giving me an opportunity to be part of your channel.
No,
Uh,
thank you so much too. It's such a blessing. So thank you for opening your door as well and helping
thank
people, assisting people,
and for
inspiring
those who,
them, motivating them.
yeah, and for those who don't know me, my name is Neeti. I am a registered
Is there any?
migration agent, and I run a company called Way
Yes.
Towards Migration and Education Services. I've been running
Mm-hmm.
this company for last 3.5 years now. And the whole idea, or what inspired me, I like bringing families together. I like people to achieve their goals. And that's why
That's
I stepped
nice.
into this profession.
That's good.
Um, yeah, so that's me, and I'm here to help you guys.
There you go. So now, Niti, first stop, as I'm sure the viewers right now are like thinking, oh, hang on, I really want to go to Australia, but how can I do this? And what could be the right option? And is it the right thing to do? Is this the right time to go to Australia because of this pandemic? Or maybe there are high demand occupations that they don't know up to now. So maybe perhaps we can start, first stop would be, do you think we can start with student visa, student
Yeah, we can
international
start with
students?
international
Shall we do
students.
that?
Yeah,
Great. So
sure.
we'll do one thing at a time so that it's all organized, especially if they're watching as well this recorded. So folks, stay tuned, relax there, okay? Sit back and also write your questions on the comment section as well. So Niti, let's start about rolling.
Right, so international students or student visa. So there are many aspiring students who want to come to Australia and gain overseas education. And Australia is known for its first class
Mm-hmm.
education, and student visa is one of the pathway. Now, but what's happening for last due to this COVID pandemic situation? Borders are closed. Yes,
Mm,
the department still allows for the visas to be lodged, and they are being processed, but due to the border restrictions, many of the international students for last probably I would say 12 months have not been able to come to the country, and they are continuing with their online studies.
mm-hmm.
Uh, but the good news is that different states are negotiating with the federal government how they can bring their students to their particular states. And South Australia recently got a green signal from the federal government, so they are
That's
in. They are
good.
already, yes. So in next few weeks, they are going to bring their students to South Australia. New South Wales is already putting that plan, and we will hopefully receive some good news when federal government has given a green signal to them. So all the states are working to get, working. They're setting up their quarantine facilities.
Mm-hmm.
They can bring the international students. So there are good intentions, but due to this pandemic and other circumstantial reasons, it's taking a while.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just to clarify that, Niti. So with the international student, is there any particular like sort of like students that's gonna be more open next year or this year or next year? Is it more on like, let's say for example nursing, or is there any particular, or is it for anything? For
International
any.
student is for anything, but their
Mm-hmm.
primary focus is students who have are more involved in the practical classes. So, for example, nursing or hospitality. So,
Mm-hmm.
people who need practical exposure and they can't just purely, rely on online medium of study. So, the states or
Mm-hmm.
universities focus is to bring such students to the country first. So
I
that's where
see.
the
I see.
staged approach is.
I see. I've got a direct message here, Niti. She
Mhm.
doesn't want me to
Mhm.
tell you what the name, but anonymous. She said that how can they actually, let's say, if they want to come to Australia as a student, how can they start? What will be the process? Anything like quick preview
Sure.
about
So,
what overview, please. Thanks.
sure. So we've got an educational counselor on board with us, and what we do is they need to provide their CV, so they need what they have studied. Because if they are coming here, there's an important component
Mm-hmm.
when the department is assessing the student visa, which is called GTE or genuine temporary entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So where they assess why this particular student want to study this particular course, or
Yeah.
what is the background. So we need to make sure that it is all related. So
Mm-hmm.
how the prospective students can start the process is they contact us, they provide their CV, we see whether what's the next course they are looking for. Maybe someone's already doing a certain working in certain occupation and they want to expand or have a theoretical knowledge. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a relation, just to give an example. Or someone has done science related degree and they want to do a higher degree. So we can
Oh,
suggest the
good.
different courses with the different university providers. And
Mm-hmm.
then from there, then we help the student to lodge the student visa.
Mm-hmm. And how can they actually choose a school? Is that from the representative itself?
If from the we suggest them, if they have already got something in mind, they can always come. I want to do, hey Niti, I want to do, for example, masters in accounting, regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we
Mm-hmm.
suggest, based on your profile, you could actually opt for this, or
Mm-hmm.
but these are the eligibility criteria, so you must meet those eligibility criteria,
I see. I see.
such as
Okay, good.
English or financial. So there are many there.
Yeah. And as you have said about the English, there's a question here about the IELTS. Um,
Yes.
do they need to do that from their own country? Do they need to take the IELTS straight away, or can they take the IELTS here whilst they're
They can do
studying
it. They can no before the student
before?
visa is granted, they have to
Okay.
take the academic, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
they see it. Yeah.
Lovely. So, guys, for those who are tuning in, for those who wanted to come here as a student, international student, make sure you've already taken your IELTS, as what Niti is saying. And of course, if you don't know any school, there must be some representative in different countries, Niti, right?
Yes.
Whom they
Yes.
can actually talk to. So, is there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So maybe they can also contact Unity, who's going to be the right, how do you call that, school representative that they can, how do they
Education
actually,
counselors. There are educational counselors, or the
counselors?
yes,
Okay,
or the
so they can
representatives
ask you.
of different countries. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So do you have the list of these educational counselors from different countries?
No,
Do you
but
think,
I can tell you IDP, for example, is one of the biggest educational council who represent variety of Australian university globally. And
that's
most of the
good.
countries have got their offices.
That's good. That's good to know. And for more information, obviously, you can contact Niti. You can contact her through it's info@waytooz.com. That's
Yep.
their business email. So you can keep in touch with Niti. anytime, any day, Niti, right? Because different parts of the globe, different
Yeah,
time zones. So I'm sure Niti is
absolutely.
very accommodating, guys, very accommodating. So that's really good. Thanks for that, Niti. Anything else that you want to add to that international student visa at the moment? Are you
Um,
happy with everything?
so, no, I think I'm happy. As I said before, it is still open. The student visas are being lodged, and the
Mhm.
department is processing. However, there could be a situation where students have to start their online study while they're in their own country.
That's right. That's right. Good, good. Thank you so much for that.
Problem.
Now, so that's all about student visa, international student international visa. Let's move on to the next visa, which is quite common, which is the skilled migrant visa.
Skilled
Okay, Niti, you
migration.
know more
Yes.
than me, so please take it away. Tell us about
Right.
this. We're very excited to know about the skilled migrant visa.
So, skilled migration visa is all about getting a skilled workforce in the country. So, who have got the right skills, occupation, or experience, Australia wants more of those. And
Mm-hmm.
especially during this COVID situation, I think we are more and more realizing that Australia needs more skilled workforce.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
the speculations at the moment, although because it has not come formally from the department, but it is looking very positive in coming years.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, absolutely. So, guys, for those who don't know, there are three different subclasses of skilled migration. The first one is skilled independent, which is subclass 189, and the
Mm-hmm.
other two, which is subclass 190 and 491, are state nominated visas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the skilled migration is all uh, points based visas, which means there is a certain point score which you need to score before you become eligible for one of these
Mm.
visas. And that score is based on age, your qualifications, your experience, your level of English, etc. And the minimum score to be eligible, required to be eligible, is 65.
65. Mm.
65. Uh,
Okay.
but but that's a bare minimum eligibility, and there's a lot of competition. People are sitting on 80, 90, 100. So
Oh.
the more you have, the better it is, and there are more chances.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's all. That's about skilled migration. Now, just to explain a high-level process, how it works is to be eligible. The first thing, as I said, the points test. So you must score minimum of 65. Second, you must have a positive skills assessment. So there are a variety of skills assessing authority. Respective to your qualifications or experience, those who assess your skills based on your qualifications or
Mm-hmm.
experience. So once you have met those two, that's only when you can proceed.
I see.
Yeah. So
Eh,
how we
yeah.
do it, how or what our role is. Let's say the prospective client or one or a migrant wants to come and say, "I want to move to Australia. I am an engineer." All right. Let's see. Put it down on your. Give us your CV that details when you did particular qualification. What's your experience in that particular field, or have you appeared? And we do point test assessment. Then we will help that person with a skills assessment, because as I said before, you need to have a positive skills assessment. So we'll go to a particular skills assessing authority. We'll guide the applicant how they need to achieve that positive outcome, because that's the biggest milestone. Because if you don't
Mm,
have that, you cannot proceed. And
true,
then,
true.
depending upon whether they are being eligible, depending upon the occupation, they are being eligible for 189, 190, or 49 visas. So we guide them accordingly, and then we help with the different processes, because sometimes we might have to go to the state to get their approval or state nomination to move to the
Mm-hmm.
next.
Mm-hmm.
So there are variety of steps or milestones in it, and we do, we help the applicant to achieve each of those until we reach to the
Mm.
end.
There's so many
Um,
numbers there, isn't it, Niti?
there are,
One,
there
so,
are,
but you can replay this, guys. You don't need to memorize it, but you can replay this
yeah,
podcast. No, Niti, for each of those number subclass visa, I couldn't remember what it's like, one something whatever.
189,
Yeah, yeah. So each
190.
of them, how long could be the processing? Is it months? Is it within a year or something? The
Okay.
waiting time.
The waiting time for the offshore at the moment, due to COVID, it is
Mm.
taking long.
Yeah,
It could
sure.
be 12 months. It could be 12 months. Even to
Mm-hmm.
pick up, to be not to be invited for the visa, to apply for the visa. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to, as an applicant, the applicant lodges an expression of interest and then just wait. So for an offshore applicant, you could be waiting for 12 months during this time, during COVID, to get that invitation to apply, to for your expression of interest to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
But for onshore, depending upon how many points you're sitting, it could be, let's say you're sitting on 100 points and you have nominated an occupation which is really in a high demand, then you might get it in a month's time. But if you are, you have nominated an occupation which is not in so much demand, but you're sitting on high, you may not get it.
I
So
see.
because you have to register your expression of interest before they can invite you. And after that, once you've been invited, that's when you launch the visa, and that could take 6 months to 8 months.
I see. I
So it
see.
varies from case to case, and it depends upon various factors.
Mm-hmm. And it
Mm.
also depends on the countries. Does it depend whichever country they're from?
Not really. It depends
Okay.
upon points and the occupation.
Yeah. Someone was asking you about the points, direct message here. Like, what are, when you say points, what are those? If you could,
Sure.
she said, if you could elaborate on that, what are those points?
Okay. So
Pointer or points
yeah.
checklist.
So how is that points calculated?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the first one is for your age. If you are less than 25 years, so between 18 and 25, you get 25 points. But if you're above
Mm.
25 to 33, you get 30 points. And if you're above 33, you get 25 again. And
Mm.
then after 40, it drops down back to 15. So there are different slabs
Mm.
of age, right?
Different age, isn't it?
Different age, right? So they want people, Australia wants people who are in the age group of 25 to 33, because they would have achieved their required qualifications. They would have gained some experience. So that's why they're giving higher points towards that.
That's why, yeah,
Right?
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Good.
Then the second slab is for your English. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
scored, let's say, 7 each in IELTS, then you get 10 points. If you have scored 8 each in IELTS, you get 20 points. And now the bare minimum eligibility for English is 6 each, but you don't get any points for those.
Mm.
Then the third part is, if you have done diploma level qualification, you get 10 points. If you've done bachelor's level, you get 15 points, or
15
master's,
points.
15. But if you've done PhD, you get 20 points.
So it's only 5 points difference from the master's, bachelor's, and PhD. Okay, that's good.
Correct. And then upon your experience, now again, different slabs. If you have an overseas experience of 3 years, you get 5 points. Whereas if you have an onshore, which is an Australian experience of 3 years, you get 10 points.
Mm.
Right? Yes. So if you have an overseas experience of up to 5 years, you get 10 points. If you have an overseas experience of 8 years, you get 15 points. And similarly, for the onshore qualification, is for 1 year, you get 5 points. For 3 years, you get 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, you get 15 points. So that's how it works. Now, there are also some other, like people who have attained STEM qualification, which is, technology, engineering, specialized mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get additional 5 points. If they have done a national accredited translation exam, which is called NATI, then they get another 5 points. If they do a professional year, which is usually after for people who are in accounting or engineering or IT professions, then they get another 5 points. So there are, as I told you, there are a number of criterias. But if you want to explore or calculate, you can either visit my website, or you can go to IMI Home Affairs site, and you can calculate your points there.
I see. That's good to know. Wow. Those are those pointers, guys. Hopefully you're taking down notes. If not, otherwise you can replay this recorded podcast as well later on. Okay, good. Thank you for that, Niti. Now, Niti, since we're talking about skilled migration, skilled migrants, I'm curious about what are the high demand occupation
Right.
right now that you know. This will be interesting.
Right. So just before I go into that,
Mhm.
now there is a set list of occupation list that's defined by the department, right? And they've got two main lists, which is one is the MLTSL and the other one is STSL. So MLTSL means medium and long-term strategic skilled occupation list, and STSL is short-term skilled occupation list. Now, for MLTS, as the name suggests, it's a long term. It's open for all subclasses, whereas STS,
Oh,
whereas the occupations in STSOL is only for subclass 190 and 491, which means state nominated visas, right? So we always had engineering, IT, most of the time, always been in MLTSL list. But due to COVID, the demand has even gone up. And lately, the department
wow.
released specifically 19 occupations which were labeled as priority skilled occupation list or critical skill list. Most of them were medical, the occupations in the medical industry, but then there were some engineering occupations and some software engineers or software programmers listed in there as well. For last 2 years, we were looking that, there was a lot of competition for software engineers, people who were sitting on 9,500. It was hard to get through. But because the demand has really gone up, I think it's a time for software engineers or software developers or even mechanical engineers or civil engineers. So the dynamics have changed after COVID because there's a skill shortage across almost all the industries. And that's why
Oh, that's good.
states are being, some states are giving nominations for those, where they're finding that there's a really shortage of particular skills.
So let's just repeat that: software engineer, civil engineer, or
Biomedical engineer, uh,
biomedical.
biomedicals, software developer. As I said, most of the GP. Lately, hospitality has come into the critical list, which is cook and chef. So there's a great demand for
Woo!
that. That's
There you go,
really good.
everyone.
Yes.
Chefs
Yeah.
around the globe.
So yeah.
So just to repeat again, apart from the engineering that you've mentioned, so one of the high demand occupation is also chef and cook, and
Yep.
the medical part,
I'm sorry. Nursing is another one.
nursing, yeah, medical. Speaking about medical, someone asked you about how can they convert, being a doctor in their country to. We can talk about more of that next time. So it could be a skilled migrant category or international student category. Could be if they want to convert their profession as a doctor coming here, right? And also if being accountant as well. So maybe perhaps we can have a different segment, another segment for that when it comes to conversion of being a doctor in their own country and converting their being the what you call this being a doctor here as well in Australia, because
Correct.
there's,
Correct.
and
Now,
you can expound on that one.
yeah, just briefly, I'll mention because this session is, I'm keeping it very generic and everyone's
Yeah,
situation is
that's
different.
right. That's right. Yeah.
So for any occupation, how I explained that the standard process remains same. However, for doctors, some of the skills assessment, how I said the step one is to get the skills assessment. For doctors or applicants who are in medical profession, the skills assessment authority requires they require a 1 year of supervised training in Australia. So it's like a catch 22, chicken and egg situation or catch 22 situation where to get that skills assessment, they have to come here. But to get here, they have to get it assessed. So,
That's right.
but we can certainly help them. And it, as I said, it'll be depending upon case by case basis where their
That's right.
specialization lies and how can we help them. But just at a high level or in general, I would say most of the medical professions we see, they come on work visas, temporary work visa, which is a 482 visa. So that while they are here, then they meet the requirement for the skilled migration so that they can be a permanent resident, because they get the supervised training, they have to pass certain tests while in here. So that's how they can go. And then the other part is it also depends that the qualification as a doctor from which country they are holding. So the rules are
That's
different
right.
in each country, especially
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
skills assessment. So that's why I said this is very general, and we will have to assess it specifically depending upon, where
Yeah.
did you study, what did you study, is there a specialization, then what are the criteria for those skilling assessing authorities, depending upon the specialization, where do you lie, and then we guide them.
That's a good pathway. Working visa, and then they can then
Absolutely.
apply for a skilled migrant in the future. So that's really good. Thank you for sharing that thoughts, Niti. Well done. Very good information as well. Now, someone is asking as well here. Is a teacher is also could be a high demand occupation in Australia?
It is primary teacher,
Oh,
senior school. I think the another one is, yes, they are in high demand. They are in MLT
wow.
list.
Good. So engineer in the medical profession like nurses, cook and chef, teacher. Did I miss
Yes.
anything? Well, you can rewind later on, guys.
There's
Okay.
a huge list of occupations which are in MLTSL list. Teachers are not in critical list as such, but they are in
As such.
MLTSL list, which is, as I said, it is in demand, the most demand list.
Cool. Is that can they find that in your website as well? All these lists, Niti?
I'll have to check. I don't think so. I've put all the occupations because these keep on changing. But I
That's right. That's right.
because that
Yeah,
keeps
that's
on
good.
changing, which, as I said, there are numbers of lists, MLTSL list, STSOL's
Yeah.
list, regional occupation list. So that
Yeah.
changing
Very
from
fluid, isn't it? It changes,
very
and that's
fluid.
true. Anything could happen, and anything can, they can change any of the part of the visa and the regulations and the
Yeah. Of
requirements as
those
well. So that's
lists
true.
are available on the department's website. So you can certainly, go to the ML, look for the skilled occupation list, and there are different lists that come, and you can look for the skilled occupation list if you're coming through a skilled migration pathway.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. But in case if you want to, visit Niti's website, please visit her website on www.waytooz.com for more information as well, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that. Well done, Niti. Now, Niti, let's talk about. You've already tackled the work visa, right? So maybe perhaps we can. Do you want to expound more on any work visa, or
Yes,
your?
yes. I think
Yes,
we haven't
please.
touched on work visa a lot, but work visa is another fantastic way to get into the country. As I said, there are many occupations which are in demand, and there are not skills in the country, and they are looking for people from outside. So temporary work visa, which I just mentioned before, that's the fastest way. But again, it will depend upon the occupation if that's open for that particular subclass for, in this case, 482 visas. And depending upon that occupation, you may be granted 2 years or 4-year visa. And so the applicants usually come on that one, and then while they are here, then they work towards the next stage so that they can get into the permanent residency pathway.
That's good.
But there are also some occupations which can be directly sponsored by employers, and they can actually get PR. So just to give an example, any occupation which is an MLTSL list, and I'll pick up engineers again, or software engineer, if you have an employer who's happy to sponsor you, he says you have got that much years of experience, you've got really skills which I can't find in my own country, and they're ready to sponsor you, then that's the pathway. And then they can sponsor you and you get the straightaway PR. But there's a minimum eligibility criteria that you must have at least 3 years of experience.
That's right. So make sure you guys contact Niti on info@waytooz.com in case you want to ask for more clarifications and queries as well. Now, there's a question here, Niti. How about the welder of the automotive? How do you say that? Automotive mechanics or something?
Mechanic.
Yeah. What can you say about that?
Yep, motor mechanics are again in MLTSL list, which is good. So that is open to subclass 189, 190, and 491. The last one here, for motor mechanics, we haven't seen many sub invitations for subclass 189, although it's been in MLTSL list. But it is we have seen some invitations for subclass 491, which is a state nominated visas. So if you're working in a regional area as a motor mechanic and you've been assessed as a motor mechanic by a skilling assessing authority, then certainly you have an option here for PR.
Good. So this is more on the pathway to working visa or skilled migrants.
Skilled migration, but again, that is also open for employer-sponsored visa because it is.
That's good. So both. Wow, skilled migration or working visa or like
Correct.
sponsored
if you
by
have an
the employer
who wants to hire you as a motor mechanic, absolutely.
That's good. That's good to know. And they can find. I'm sure there are adverts when it comes to let's say for automotive mechanics people. There are websites. Where can they actually find some employers, Niti? Do you know any sort of like idea or tips where they can find all these? Because I don't think seek.com would be accessible to them outside of this country.
Well, they can go to different job boards or through LinkedIn.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And there are many job boards specific to, and there are industry specifics as well. Like I keep on saying, especially the medical professional ones, that they are doctors. But that's something they need to, because we come from I'm an immigration specialist. So
that's right.
Interest if I find an employer for them. So
that's right.
An employer, yeah.
Great. So there you go, guys. You can find those employers, perhaps, whatever is accessible in your country, a job board, or like here in Australia, we have got seek.com. So make sure you find that. And, it might be a skilled migration visa for you or a working visa pathway. And then you can apply for residency in the future. That would be good. And then for any information, again, you can contact Nikki at info@waytooz.com. Anything else that you want to add?
I just wanted to add, Lee, I'm sure in many people, yes, we have got today global viewers, but there must be some people who are onshore at the moment, and they may be respective, working in their nominated occupations. So that's really useful for them, because seek.com, as you said, that is open for them. They may have an employer, or they may already be working for that employer, and that employer is really happy with their performance and they want to sponsor them. So that's a pathway for them.
That'd be good, isn't it? There's so many things that you can, there are different pathways that you can do. All you need to do is ask the expert.
That's where we specialize in. We help you identify that right pathway. So that's why the foremost thing is I need your CV or resume to assess where do you fit in if you want to move to.
Great. Thank you for that. Again, www.waytooz.com if you want to visit her website. Or you can go and email her through info@waytooz.com anytime, whatever is the global time. Niti is very accommodating for that, and she'll guide you through as well. Great. So Niti, anything else you want to add to that working visa segment that we were talking about? You're happy with that?
I think I'm happy with that. But
okay, good.
There are actually, one more bit.
Yeah, sure.
They may know about this. So that's subclass 186 I'm talking about, or 187, or even subclass 494 I'm talking about.
This is for the working visa, right?
It's for the working visas.
Beautiful. Again, replay this later on. If you don't memorize all the numbers, you don't need guys to memorize all these numbers. Niti is the best person to talk to about this, but at least you know what you're going to be planning when you're coming here. It's either going to be a student visa or a migrant visa, skilled migrants, or working visa pathway. So Niti is the best person to talk to. Okay. Now, guys, let's move on. So we've already tackled those visa from the international student to skilled migrants to working visa or sponsored by the employer. Let's move on to the next box, which is again family sponsored. Is that the way you say it, Niti?
Family sponsor.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's do that. Please help us with all these subclass. Educate us. Thank you.
Family visas. I think we're going to cover parent visas and spouse visas here under family section. So the good news is the family visas, they have, the department has doubled the allocation. So it's actually for partner visas. So until last financial year, the allocations for partner visa was 37,200, but this year it is 72,000, double. So their focus
Wow.
is on spouse visas. Yes.
Spouse
So
visa.
what I mean
Okay.
by spouse visa is, um, let's say you have found your love of life, and that person is an Australian citizen or PR, and
Mm-hmm.
he can sponsor you
Mm-hmm.
once you're married, or even if you're in a relationship and you can prove that you're in a genuine commitment and relationship, then you can apply for spouse visa.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
So now this is not only for people who are offshore. There's also a provision. Let's say you're already in the country. Let's say you are on a work visa or a student visa, and you have found someone, and you are in relationship, and the other person wants to spend rest of his life with you. You've got a strong commitment. Then you can certainly apply for onshore spouse visa as well. That's called subclass 801, 820, and for offshore it's called 309, 100.
So they can do either of the
They can do
two.
that. Yes, yes.
Wow. And how long would be the, hang on, there's a question here. How long, if this gonna be a spouse visa or a sponsor, what do you call that? A sponsor visa, spouse, whatever you call it.
That's
How long would be the processing of the visa if it's an offshore and onshore?
right.
How long will be the
So it's
processing?
actually a two-step process. You know how I used two numbers before. So
Mm-hmm.
how it works is they give you first the temporary residency. And then once you've got the temporary residency, you get Medicare and all the benefits. But then and after that, after 2 years of that, you move to the next stage, which is the permanent stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
The current processing time is 20 to 22 months. But
Mm-hmm.
that's where the department focus is to make it faster. But
Mm-hmm.
if they've already spent 2 years, they might just skip the first phase and give you the permanent residency at one and temporary at one go. So if they've spent
Wow,
time, yes.
that's
So
even better.
yeah, yes. But if it's faster, I see all the time people on 309 who have come here, they were granted in 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
less than 6 months. And then they're here for 2 years, and then they move to the next stage. Right?
Wow, that's amazing.
But it can take to 20 to 22 months. I've seen on the other side, I've seen cases where they've lost their 801, 820, and they've been waiting. But then
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to go to the second stage. So they might, because it's already been 24 months, they may even
Mm-hmm.
grant the next stage, as
Mm-hmm.
long as they're satisfied that you've maintained and committed the
Yeah,
relationship.
cool, cool. Yeah, my direct messages here is bombarded with a lot of questions when it comes to
That's
spouse and
okay.
family visa. So
That's
just wait for a second. So there's another one here. Very excited. Okay, anonymous doesn't want to reveal their names. So, is it better onshore because it's faster or offshore when it comes to spouse visa? Is it better to apply onshore or offshore?
From the benefits
There's only one
perspective, I would say onshore is good. What I mean by benefits
onshore
is because once you have applied for it, you will be on a bridging visa that allows you to stay with your
to
partner.
stay. Yeah,
Also,
that's
that
right.
allows you to apply for your Medicare.
That's good.
So onshore is it's because offshore is obviously you have to wait till it is granted. Because offshore
Mm-hmm.
you don't have an option for bridging visa.
Mm-hmm.
However, onshore you get the option of bridging visa.
Cool. Thank you for that. So I guess they're very happy today. Okay, another one, another one. Hang on. There you go. Now with the let me just see. I need to interpret this in English, okay? It's all about the spouse visa as well. Now, if it's an can they get married here as well? Let's say, hang on, I need to interpret this. So if the person has been sponsored from a different country, has already arrived in Australia, they can get married in 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, or do they need to get married overseas?
No, they can get married. If they get married here, then apply for 801, 820. If they were married overseas, then they apply for
Mhm.
309, 100.
Okay, cool, beautiful. Thanks for that, Niti.
No
There you
problem.
go. Now there's another one.
Yeah, yeah,
I
go.
told you I'm bombarded with questions here, right?
That's really all good.
How about if, let's say, they have been sponsored offshore, right? Already offshore or onshore, and they've got kids, and they're
Yep.
from their own country. How does this work,
It
Niti? If you could
can be
help them.
included as well. they can be included as well as part of that partner visa application.
Include in that application itself, so that they
Right.
can then come, the children can come here as well,
Correct.
regardless of the age of the children.
Dependent. They need to be dependent,
They need to
which
be
is
dependent.
which is less than 18.
Okay, less than 18. Okay, above 18 will be an individual application to come here.
Correct.
Got you. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Oh, okay. I have other questions. It's more on the other family visa, but I'll ask that later on. Okay. So, is
Sure.
there anything else, Niti? And for you guys, if you have any question, please write on the comment section. Let me just see. Hello, Shivang. Thank you so much for dropping by. And for all you guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in with us for a live podcast today with Niti Hara, the best migrant agent here in Australia, obviously. And of course, this is our live podcast only here on on my YouTube channel, Motivationalee. Thank you so much, and stay tuned, guys. Okay. Now, question about, and I'll ask the question later on about the family, like the parents, of course. But if you have any other ideas, tips when it comes to the spouse visa, that's
There's
all.
also something called prospective marriage visa. So let's say there are two prospective marriage visa. Let's say there are two individuals. One is an Australian citizen or PR, and the other person is in another country. They met online. They are in relation, or maybe they've met outside, but they live separately in different countries. That's what I mean. And now they want to marry here. So there's something called prospective marriage visa. They can apply for subclass 300. That's a 9-month visa where they can come in, and they have to provide the date that they've registered for this particular date and they want to get married, and they can apply for prospective marriage visa.
Okay. And can they include their children as well if they when it comes to the prospective marriage visa?
Yes. But remember, that's a temporary visa. That's a temporary visa. That's only for 9 months.
I see. So it's better if they could apply for a residency and then
at the next stage. Yes.
And you will guide them anyways once they've done that. If any one of you guys are watching when it comes to prospective visa, Niti can guide you through after the 9 months temporary visa. Then Niti can help you. What's the next
condition with prospective marriage visa is that you should have physically met once. So it's
once.
Minimum once. So you should have physically met. It's not like, you're doing, you met on social media and then one day you decide.
So physically, face to face.
Correct. Australia doesn't see that as a, commitment.
Relationship commitment. True.
You should have physically met.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's fair enough, actually. That's good. Now, I forgot what I'm going to ask is about the meeting. Maybe I'll ask you later on, because I've got so much in my head as well and so many questions here, guys. Just wait for a second, okay? One thing at a time. Anything else you want to add to that spouse visa? Are we happy with that now? Okay, cool. Wow, we've got lots of visas today. So if in case we cannot cover everything, we'll have a part 2. We'll never know. Okay, Niti. Now, the next one is the family visa, like parents. So we talk about parent visa. There's so many subclasses, right?
There are so many subclasses, but let me start this way. So for any parent to be eligible for a permanent residency, foremost thing is that they should meet something called balance of family test, which means, let's say they have got 3 children. Now, out of that, 50% or more should be Australian resident or citizens. So out of 3, there should be at least 2 of them should be Australian citizen or PR for parents to be eligible for PR. So that's how we test this. The first question we ask is, how many children do you have? Do you meet balance of family test? So that's the foremost question.
Do you ask that question? Sorry to interrupt, Niti. I'm so sorry. Is that a question to the parent or to the applicant, the child itself?
To the parent, to their children.
To the parent. Okay, thank you.
Calling me who's the sponsor, then say, how many siblings do you have? You want to call your parents, how many children do they have? And do they meet balance of family test?
So 2 of them must be a citizen or resident in Australia.
50%. Okay. So if there are 2 kids, 1. If there's 1, they've already passed because 100% of the children are here.
I passed. Okay.
That's balance of family test. That's one.
Mhm.
Now, there are, as I said before, number of subclasses, but how we can do is there's something, if you pay more money, you get the residency quicker. If you pay a normal fee, you could be waiting for 30 years.
Oh my God. Speaking of the fee, please tell
Yes.
us so that
Oh
they
my
know, so
God.
that they can prepare saving. Okay.
So
Let's
something
start
is
saving, guys.
yes. Something okay. So one of the subclass is called contributory parent visa. Now, as the name suggests, that means you're contributing money.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So it's 50,000, approximately $50,000 per parent.
50,000.
Yes,
Oh my
I
goodness.
know.
You can buy a house. Okay.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. You're still
So,
there?
yes, I
Yeah.
am. Can you see me?
So 50K AUD
50
for
AUD,
contributory parent visa.
parent visas,
Huge
right?
per
Now,
parent.
per parent. Now, a
600,000.
couple of years ago, it used to be processed in 9 months. Then slowly the processing time increased to 18 months, then 3 years. And now, even with the contributory, it is taking good 5 to 6 years.
Wow, that's long.
That's a long time. But unfortunately, or fortunately, that's the only option if you really want to get your parents here
Faster.
faster.
Mhm.
The other option is non-contributory, where you pay the standard application, which is usually for one parent 4,000, for a couple 6,000.
Mhm.
But then you put in the application and you just wait forever,
Mhm.
because
Forever.
forever, because it could take 20 to 30 years. No one knows,
Oh my God. And
right?
what if they're already 65? Is there any age?
Yes. So this is
So
when
what's
that's the
the age requirement? Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
for the parent visa, there's no age, right? I mean,
Okay.
but then there are further subclasses or further diversions to it where this
Mhm.
age comes into place. So let's say you have a parent who
Mhm.
is here on a
I've lost.
visitor visa.
Are you still there, Niti? Oh yeah, go.
Okay. Let's say you have a parent
I lost you a little for a little while.
who's on visitor visa here, right?
Mhm.
And they're above the aged pension age, which is currently 66.5. And let's say they apply for the normal visa, which takes 30 years forever. But
Mhm.
because they've applied onshore and because they meet the age parent uh,
A- Age
age
requirement
age
66.5.
requirement, then they get a bridging visa A to stay. So some
Mm.
people who do not want to spend that much money, they prefer this option, and they don't. The parents don't get any other benefit other than like no
No
medical
Medicare.
or anything like that. But what in those cases people do is they go for private health insurance.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and those who don't want to spend 100,000
Mhm.
for a set of parents.
Mhm.
Whereas, but there's also an option that while onshore, they can also apply for contributory because they don't want to let their parents go. And especially during COVID, this has
Especially
happened.
now. Yeah.
Exactly. This has happened a lot where they say, we are happy to spend, 100,000, but at the same time, we don't want to let our parents go back. They're
True.
already here. They're
Yeah.
already here. That's when we apply aged contributory parent visa. So they meet the age criteria, but they also pay
66.5.
50,000. But they also pay
Mhm.
50,000 per again. So they get the bridging visa earlier, and then they get the permanent visas probably in 4 or 5 years, depending upon what the
Okay.
processing time is. Because
There you
every
go.
year the department has a certain ceiling to those parent visas.
Mhm.
For last year it
Mhm.
was 500, and for this year also, for this financial year again, the total number of places that's been allocated is 4,500
Mhm.
for parent visa.
Mhm. Just to clarify quickly, Niti, if you don't mind me asking, for the aged with a D, parent visa, which is 66.5 years old, let's
Yep.
say a certain parent who has that age, who's already here on shore, right? And you
Yep.
said they can apply for, can they apply both either contributory parent visa or just to extend the tourist visa? What do you think?
They can do either. If they meet, first of all,
Ah.
if they meet parent visa. So let's say parents are here, but they've got 3 children. Only one of them live here, the 2 other
Mhm.
live in other countries. They don't meet
Mhm.
parent visa, okay, eligibility. So they
Mhm.
will have to extend their tourist visa.
Mhm.
Okay.
Also, it's okay to do it on shore. You keep on extending and
So
extending, as
it
long as you've got
depends.
the money.
No, well, yes, correct. But there are also some conditions. Sometimes some visas have a condition of no further stay. If they've got that
True.
condition, they cannot apply for another visa, and you have to
Okay.
seek a waiver for that. So it
Okay.
depends from situation to situation what visa
Mhm.
conditions they have on their current
Mhm.
visa. Only accordingly, then you can proceed.
So, guys, you need to read the visa itself. If it says there's a condition that it only the parent could only stay at a certain year
Correct.
or month, you've got
Yeah.
to follow that.
And
Yeah, so it's good.
that's where you need professional advice. You come and talk to us and tell what is the ultimative motive you
Mm,
have. What are you trying to
mm,
achieve? And then we can
mm,
guide
mm.
you. Do this or
That's right.
this. These are the options available.
And for
Yeah.
those who are actually, let's say, for those parents, as you have mentioned a while ago, who already onshore, and for example, maybe they don't have any like much restriction and conditions on their visa, and the children who is eligible to sponsor their parent as contributory, but then they don't have the money yet, they're still saving, they can just extend and extend, right? And the parents can
As long
have
as they
the
don't have
additional
a
visa.
visa condition.
That's right. As long as they don't have, make sure, guys, that you read your visa letter as well. It should be stated there clearly. Great, great. Now, I've got few questions here, so stand by, Niti. Take a
That's
deep
okay.
breath. Thank you for that. Okay. Um, so from the anonymous as well. What it's all about the age parent visa. It's just asking about how long would be the processing if it's an offshore, and there's one offshore and one onshore. Okay, so how long would be the processing, and is it costly? How much would it cost them
I think I've
if
already
it's like
explained. I've already, if it's an aged can only be applied onshore. It cannot be applied offshore because
okay, guys? Okay,
aged parent visa gives you bridging visa, right?
okay.
If you apply offshore, that's a subclass 103 where you put in the application and you wait forever. As I said, 20 years, 30 years, God knows. And
Okay.
if you apply offshore, but you want it faster turnaround, you pay that hefty amount, which is 50,000 per
Oh, that's a
head,
lot. That's a lot.
right? Aged is only onshore. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot apply aged offshore.
Okay,
Staying
and
with aged, there is a contributory and non-contributory.
it should be 66.5 years old, right,
Right.
for the age parent visa.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
was about to
and
say there are age brackets by Centrelink. So for
mhm.
women and men, it changes. So it's not fixed 66.5. You have to put your date of birth between those age brackets. For some people, 66 might work. For others, 66.5 or 67.
Mhm, mhm. And another one here is saying, like, just to reiterate, Niti, that you have mentioned that if you're applying, if the children are applying for an aged parent visa, it must be the children. 50% of them are citizen here. Is that what you said? Citizen here or
Yeah.
permanent resident. So
Yes.
50%. If four of them, it says here, if four of them are the siblings, should be two of them must be here.
Correct.
And the aged parent visa is onshore.
Aged parent visa is onshore.
Onshore,
Correct.
great, beautiful.
Right.
I've got another question here, Niti. Are you
Yeah.
ready?
For it.
Okay. This is all about the. He is an only child. Okay. Hang on. I've got lots of questions here. Hang on, one at a time, guys. Uh, he's an only child, and what? And then he's a resident. Oh no, he's a citizen. Citizen. Yeah, he's a citizen here already, in a different state, and his parents, obviously, are living alone there, and that he wants them to be, you know,
Yeah.
um, sponsored here in Australia. What could be the particular visa that he could apply for this one? Is it
How
he's the last because he's the only child?
Right. So all the visa types have said because they pass the balance of family test. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want them here to be faster, maybe subclass 143, which is a contributory parent visa.
Contributory is still the same.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe maybe he could say, I'll bring them here on visitor, And if they don't have a condition, I might try my luck with aged parent visa. So then they can give me for bridging visa.
So either the two. Great. Now, there's a clarification here. This person has heard that there is a visa called the last family. He couldn't say it, okay, because he doesn't know the terminology. But the last
Remaining
family visa there you go. Remaining visa.
relative visa. Yeah.
Relative.
So
Okay, what's that?
remaining relative visa is if you have a relative who is left all alone in another country, and he's got no nearby relative. So let's say an applicant has a brother or sibling. He's not married, doesn't have parents, so no nearby relatives left. So he can sponsor the last remaining relative. Again, processing times are very long for this visa offshore, right?
Okay,
but
good.
options give them bridging visa while they are waiting for their decision.
Oh, that's good. At least, they can still enjoy their quality time together. That's great. That's great.
If they're onshore, yeah.
Beautiful. Any other sort of like visas that you want to talk about? Family sponsored visa. We've talked about the spouse. We've talked about the parent.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add?
870 parent visa.
Come again, sorry.
Subclass 870, which was recently introduced in 2019. This is for people who do not meet the balance of family test. For parents who do not. So they've got one child here and two somewhere else, let's say. Those people can apply for continuous stay, 3-year or 5-year stay. That's called subclass 870. And 3-year visa will cost them 5,000. 5-year visa will cost them 10,000 per parent. But the benefit is that they get to stay with their children continuously for that 3 years longer. Because otherwise, as you know, the visitor visas are either 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. That gives them parent provision.
Yeah. And Niti, we've lost you for a few minutes a while ago. You've mentioned about the years. So there's 3 years. How much is it? Because we've lost you there a while ago. 3 years is 5K.
5,000, yes, and 5 years is 10,000.
10,000. There you go, guys. And this is for those siblings or children who did not actually pass the family test, because you don't have 50% here as well, like 50% points of being a resident or citizen in this country. So you can have that option. It is part of the what we call tourist visa, right? Parents tourist visa.
It's not. It's a temporary visa. So you can, in a layman language, you can say but it's only available to parents. So it's between parents only. Yeah.
Okay. So that's good, guys. You've got 3 years of a choice, 5K, or 5 years for 10K. And can they extend that as well?
Maximum 2 times they can get in their lifetime. So they can extend it. That's it. So maximum 10 years.
Oh, good. So if they're 3 years, they can extend another 3 years, bridging in between.
Or 5 years.
Or 5 years, yeah. As long as you've got the 5K and the 10K, guys, why not? And Niti will be there to support you and guide you through as well.
Because there are other eligibility criteria as well, such as income and other things as well. So we have to talk in detail about that.
Good. And one more thing about the parents' visa. There's a question here. What are the requirements possibly for, because they're pointers as well, points, 100 points or something, Niti? What are those for parent, let's say, for example, just for tourist visa for their parents, if they want their parents to come here as well, just to visit for maybe, let's say 3 years, because they haven't, they did not, pass the family test, something like that. What are the requirements from on behalf of the sponsors? Let's say the children are sponsoring their parents.
The key one is the income requirement. So it's 82,549. So approximately 83,000, let's say. That's an income requirement from the sponsor.
The tax, yeah.
From the sponsor. So they need to do their. So how that subclass 870 work is, it's a 2-stage process. where
Mm-hmm.
first you need to apply for sponsorship as a child. If
Mm-hmm.
that gets approved, only then you move to the next stage, which is applying for your parents' visa.
Mm-hmm. I see.
And
Okay.
if you've not made that income requirement, you can club that income with your partner, or maybe if you have another sibling here. But
Okay.
that 82,549 Australian
Yeah,
dollars
as $10 as a year to date.
for a year,
Okay,
for
cool,
last
cool.
financial year.
Cool. I think one more thing. There's a question about the general, what you call this, tourist visa for either parents or maybe sisters, brothers, whatever it is. What could be the requirements for both sides, the sponsor and the sponsored one, the one who's going to sponsor and the sponsored
So there's one
one?
is a tourist time or like a family visit. That
Mm-hmm.
is, you need to show that you have to prove a genuine temporary entry criteria. That
Mm-hmm.
means the person who's coming to visit Australia is
Mm-hmm.
just coming temporarily. He's
Yeah.
got strong ties to his home country,
Mm-hmm.
and that ties you will have to demonstrate, financially, socially, economically. You have to show
Mm-hmm.
the strong ties, and they're going to come back. Their purpose is just to have a short time visit here.
Short-term visit, yeah. So they
Yeah,
should,
so
if
that's correct. So that's where
something to go back to, right? If
correct,
yeah,
correct,
that's a
and that's
proof.
where the normal tourist visa, which is subclass 600, comes into.
That's
Now
right.
there's also something called family sponsored tourist visa, where a family can sponsor just for a longer term.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not a specific requirement from a sponsor, but that sponsor must be an Australian citizen or resident, and you can only
Okay.
invite your nearby relatives like your parents, grandparents, or siblings. Um, and that visa could be a little bit longer, like 12 months or 18 months.
Okay. There you go, guys. There's so many options.
And there's a bond of $10,000 that you have to give to the government, that basically giving an assurance that this person will go back after the expiry, and then
That's right.
they return that 10,000 after that person has left the country.
So that's the bond. Okay. So
That's
it's
the
just
bond
a
for family
deposit and then they'll
sponsorship.
return it. So that's
Correct.
good. Well done. Thank you for that. They all said thank you, Niti. You're very
Thank
good in
you.
explaining, very well explained. So yes,
Thank
guys,
you.
thank you. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you
Now,
so
Niti,
much.
is there any other or are there any other things that you want to discuss when it comes to other visas that we have not
So
discussed
there are
today?
hundreds of visas, Lee. There's no
Mhm.
limit. There's hundreds of
That's
visas. I
right.
think we have covered most of the sections today.
Important
But
section, right?
anyone who wants to have, get their case assessed and they're in a particular situation,
Hmm.
most welcome. Feel free to contact me through my email address. You can
Yeah,
also my website,
yeah.
and I'm happy to assist you.
It's just running in front of you guys, www.waytooz.com for more information. Or you can also email Niti Hara through info@waytooz.com. That's
Yeah.
good. Well, Niti, I believe that, we have given them a lot of substance today. And if you have other questions, guys, do not hesitate to write or type it on the comment section down below there on your screen. And also, if in case you want a part two, any suggestions of any topics about migration, feel free to message me as well. Send a message on the comment section below as well. That would be good. And Niti, I would like to thank you for your time, your precious
Thank you.
time today.
Thank you for
And
having
yeah, very well deserved such a conversation today. And you have given a lot of substance in all the information. Informed and educated today with all these visas as well. So even on during pandemic, Niti, a lot of the people who are watching right now, to our global viewers, some subscribers, you're very excited to come to Australia. Australia is beautiful. There's so
you.
many things you can do here. Whether it's you're a student, you're a migrant, skilled migrants, or whatever work you do, you will go a long way. There's so many personal growth, personal development, everything. It's just really all in one place here in Australia. And of course, you have a lot of things you can do here. Travel in different parts of the state. Why not try here? And you'll never know. You might be able to settle just like us. We've
Yeah.
enjoyed this country, very accommodating, multicultural country as well, very friendly environment and very supportive environment as well. So only here in Australia. So guys, your time is very precious to us as well. Thank you so much for tuning in a live podcast. talking about migrating to or here in Australia. So thank you.
You.
And once again, Niti, any other, whatever you want to say to all our viewers right now? Any
I just want to say thank you so
message?
much for listening, and feel free to contact. I'll be more than happy to assist you guys.
There you go. So
Thank
thanks, Niti, once again. Once again, guys, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Motivationalee. And watch out for all our different segments as well when it comes to wellness, income, lifestyle, and direction. Only here with Lee on Motivationally. Thank you so much, guys. Stay
thank you.
safe, stay motivated, and be inspired always. And let's create an impact. Bye. Bye, Niti. Thank you.
Bye.
All the best.